Seconds remaining. Dire Team's turn to ban. Player disconnected. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ban. Seconds remaining. Dire Team ban. Seconds remaining. Radiant Team's turn to ban. Who could turn away from this battle? Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire Team ban.
Here for another day of the BTS Pro Series Season 2. It is MLP Dota next fight.
Radiant Team's turn to ban.
Sir, but I hope your voice is. How you doing?
I'm doing as great as one can be when your internet's shut out for no reason. Pretty excited for this game still. Got Neon Esports up against Geek Fam. Saw Geek Fam yesterday. It was a bit up and down. They did drop a game to T1. They look pretty dominant up against Execration, so we'll have to see what they do pull out here up against Neon this time around. And historically, Geek Fam has pretty much beat out Neon. In the past series they've played, Neon has kind of struggled trying to find a footing against Geek Fam. They've only played one series this year, but they played a lot in 2019, and it's been consistent for Geek Fam. So Neon, they've got to shake it up. I do believe we have a sub today playing in. I don't believe Raging Potato is here. So we do have Cypher Rappy, if I recall right.
Rappy is subbing in today for the side.
Dire Team's turn to ban.
Subbing in, I believe he's always part of it. He's always been part of the team. Maybe just as that kind of sixth player in case they sub right now, but yeah, Raging Potato, I'm not sure what was going on there. I think he might just be a bit occupied at the moment, and so they bring Rappy in instead. Still, you kind of talked about it, Geek Fam, they've had the upper hand throughout the history of the games they've played out between Geek Fam and Neon Esports, so I dare say they're looking to be the favorites in this matchup, and sure the betting odds and all that agree as well. For now anyway, but Neon Esports the other day, we didn't see them. Surprise you.
Yeah, they definitely can. And Geek Fam, I think the strongest point they've had is could have been down to Carl. If you recall yesterday, Carl was just on a roll with that Ember Spirit, just really on point. And surprisingly enough, Cuckoo's Treant Protector. Like
Radiant
that hero
team's
has
turn to
most definitely popped back in the offlane role for a couple of teams. We'll see whether or not Geek Fam will opt for that here. They do start with the DK. And it's one of the three flexible heroes right now, right? It's been the DK, it's been the Queen of Pain, it's been the Ember Spirit. And this time around, Geek Fam does get that DK, which they can give to Cuckoo on the off, or they could give to
10
Carl.
seconds
So there's a
remaining.
lot of flexibility for Geek Fam off the bat. And
5 seconds remaining.
it's a DK, it's stable in lane. Once you hit 6, you can try to take those early objectives.
Radiant team's
Yeah, I
turn to ban.
personally believe this hero right now is probably the best first pick you can make. At least one of the ones that doesn't get banned out every single game. Like, it's still banned out at least half of the games we watch. That it isn't, I would say it's probably the best first pick you can make. So Geek Fam, they do take it. But we've seen Geek Fam with this DK do a hell of a lot of work. And I mean, you talked about how
10
flexible it
seconds
is.
remaining.
But play on the side of Geek Fam do enjoy running that DK.
5 seconds remaining.
So it's probably surprising to see them pick it up. Neon Esports, however, they do go for the Void Spirit now. It's a bit more surprising to see as a first pick, though we do see some teams really like to prioritize that Void Spirit. And I believe it was Neon was really first picking that Void Spirit every chance they got. And now they're going to a Grimstroke as well.
Yeah, it's much less common as a first pick, that Void Spirit. It's been a high priority mid though, so there's some flexibility with a Void Spirit. We've seen a few teams toss it in the offlane. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for Neon, but they've got a solid
10
tempo
seconds
setting
remaining.
hero in that Void Spirit. Once it hits 6, you tend to see it really just
5
tear through a
seconds
lot of
remaining. Dire
heroes.
team's
And
turn to ban.
great magic damage for DK, so in that sense, you've kind of balanced that out. With a Grimstroke, a lot of initiation potential, and a lot of great laning presence from these two heroes, so it's pretty solid for Neon. Geek Fam, though, this is an opening we see them go back to every single time, and the Queen of Pain does make an appearance. So it's that flexible 2 sets of heroes here
10
for Geek
seconds
Fam.
remaining.
Either one could be played by Cuckoo or Carl, so you're never quite
5
sure what that
seconds
mid
remaining.
matchup will be.
That is true. The classic DK quad. It's can't remember how many times it's been now we've seen Geek Fam go for this opening. But it usually means they are going to be feeling pretty good going into this game with that opening of that DK quad. I think Neon Esports probably should have expected this to come out though, in all fairness. It has been multiple
Radiant
times
team
now that
ban.
Geek Fam has had this exact opening. We'll
Yep.
see one more ban coming out from Neon Esports before the draft continues. The Timbersaw, of course, somehow made it to the 5th ban for Geek Fam. That's been a first ban every single game we've seen. But now it is removed, so we won't see it this game either. Actually, it would have been quite nice up against the
10
DK
seconds
Neon
remaining.
Esports did want to pick it up, but they opted for that Void Spirit Grim instead.
5 seconds remaining.
Now, Neon Esports, they might have a think about this 5th ban out. You can't have a Treant Protector that is still available right now. I doubt they'll go down the route though, because you do have that pop DK now, so you probably won't have space for it. And I don't really think they need it per se, but you may want to get rid of the like it if you're Neon Esports. We saw it from Raven. I mean, they just
Oh yeah.
it wasn't even close.
No.
It's not like it.
Yeah, it's really tricky because Geek Fam plays around it perfectly, and again, it was in their last game against Execration where Geek Fam
Radiant
went a
team's
bit
turn to
wild with that draft. Just Raven finding, 25-minute AC, Necronomicon,
Dire
Tree,
team's
and
turn.
Radiance and the like. And so, probably not the best hero to give him, and they do ban it out as respect. They clear for themselves, which is, I guess, really nice in this scenario because you've got the Grimstroke on your side. You don't have to worry about the
Radiant
Rolling
team's turn
Thunder
to
being held down. You can go for Bane. Yeah, Geek Fam just take that Bane in response, just to keep the Pangolier in place. So they get that solid 5, and that Bane has been popping back in, Mike.
It's been very popular, and I think it's probably the best pos 5 in the game right now. Arguably, I mean, maybe not the best, but it's pretty darn good. Like, I'd say it's at least considered an
seconds
80
remaining.
if you're gonna put it in the tier list.
5
it's
seconds
really,
remaining.
really good right now. Very potent. It did receive nerfs in the previous patch, Mostly they switched up the level 10 and 15 talents, so your cast range talent went from level 10 to level 15, which did hurt, but overall the hero is still just amazing overall. And of course up against the Pangolier, you can Fiend's Grip him during the Rolling Thunder, and that way he just can't do anything with that ulti. Same goes to the Void Spirit, of course. You have that great catch for the Void Spirit. Now the Pucky, even more value coming out for this Bane. Although now there's 3 targets he has to try and go for, in all fairness. But there is a lot of value.
That definitely is. I do still like the Puck here for Neon. I think that gives him a very strong way of keeping that Queen of Pain down with the Dream Coil. So you've got really good control here from Neon. You've got great team fight coming out. You have some flexibility with the Puck as well. It's still pretty open whether or not you want to toss the Puck mid, or the Puck off, or the Void mid, or the Void off. So there are options there for Neon and in running their draft and getting the lanes out. Of course, you've got some issues maybe with the Pango 4. We've seen some teams struggle to find that EXP, if that is what Neon will do to Pango. But otherwise, it is fairly open for them, so there is flexibility to consider. Geek Fam's response, though, the Ricky coming out. Yeah, it definitely is.
We haven't seen the pause one, Ricky.
No. We haven't just yet, and I can see it working out for them though. It kind of plays into Raven's playstyle. He does like to play semi-aggressively sometimes, although if you go the slower route for the Battle Fury, Ricky can kick into pace as well. So we'll see what Geek Fam does opt for. The silence is going to be great here. It gives him great control over something like the Puck or the Void Spirits. There's a lot of value in that Ricky. You don't have the best hold from Neon to truly lock him in. You're looking at maybe the Remnant from the Void Spirit or the Silence from the Puck to really just kind of hold him down. Beyond that, the Ricky can kind of dance around here if you're not careful. So there is some pretty good mobility here from Geek Fam with that Ricky. And yeah, the key thing is Raven's itemization. I wouldn't be too surprised if he went for the Battle Fury instead, as Raven does tend to prefer farming as in his playstyle.
10 seconds remaining.
Which is why I'm kind of surprised they went for that Ricky. Because I'm just not used to seeing him wanting to fight that early on. He really does just prefer to farm if he can. I think there's a hell of a lot of value here though with that smoke screen on the Puck and Void Spirit though. Easy pickings for that Ricky this game around. Of course, Neon Esports, their final ban, they get rid of the clockwork, which is quite intriguing. I guess we could have seen a Zephyr possible clock. I wouldn't have expected it though, in all fairness. We haven't really seen that come out of him yet. Geek Fan, they ban out the PL. They don't really have an answer to that PL this game, so it's a nice ban to make here for Geek Fam. And well, their final pickup now, they are still lacking that POS 4 or alternatively a mid. If they are going to run maybe the POS 4 Quap, which we did see from Zephyr yesterday. He did do quite well in that POS 4 Quap as well, so I wouldn't be quite surprised.
Yeah, I think the only issue for Geek Fam in this game with POS 4 Quap would be control might be a bit lacking. You're really relying on the Bane in the early game. Maybe the DK steps in once you have a blink, but that sometimes takes a bit of time, so you might be having issues in that sense, but again, we've seen Zephyr do it quite well. And the closer for Geek Fam is something I actually really enjoy. The Pugna makes an appearance, so you've got very fast pace from Geek Fam. Right? It's just really fast tower pushes with the Pugna, with DK. You've got a way to punish the Puck every single time the Puck casts a spell. It's going to be harder to chain the blink escapes because you're constantly taking damage from the meta ward. So there's a refresh time. You can break the Puck's combination there, and you can really start to melt through the map. Although, Neon's response, the Bloodseeker, that is one way to keep that rookie in check and really tear through these heroes. Like Geek Fam, to run away from that Seeker. Of course, the Pugna can play around with the decrep in that case, but I think there's some early game potential now from Neon as well.
Oh, there certainly is. intriguing kind of pick with that Bloodseeker. It's the first time we've seen it in the BTS Pro Series for Season 2. I look forward to see what it can do. I don't really have the highest hopes in all fairness of the Bloodseeker, but we'll see how it goes. Like, you are playing into a Pugna in all fairness. That is going to be a pos 4 Pugna, but my problem with the Bloodseeker is, John, you just decrepify and you can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's, and even then, right, like if you've got someone that's quite low in HP, that's being chased down, if you decrep the Bloodseeker and just life drain your teammate to heal them up, well, it kind of just makes the Bloodseeker somewhat, not useless, but you get my point. It nullifies the whole point of the Bloodseeker. That's assuming that goes down. You know, it's not as easy as said. Not as easy said than done.
It definitely isn't. But I think there is potential from both sides there. Like, with the Bloodseeker in this case, right, you've got the nice AoE silence to maybe break off that Fiend's grip from Whitemon, so you have a safer way to cancel that off without expending a big spell. Of note as well for Neon, they are running pause for Void Spirit and the offlane Pango, so looks like we will be seeing play hard in Void Spirit this time. We'll see how much he can pull out from Void Spirit. It's not something we see in Southeast Asia too often, that 4 Void, but we have seen it in some other regions, and it can get the work done depending on how aggressive you play early. You just need to hit level 6 to really start applying even more pressure.
Sure. Can be quite devastating.
我是一个没有感情的
No
刷
actions.
钱
Oh,
机
there we
器。
go. They're finally done. I was gonna say, not doing anything with these actions yet, but
There will be screaming.
of course, it wouldn't be a new day of SCA Dota without a great old course.
First, minute 0 pause is how we like it. Just the way everyone likes it.
So it's gonna be that safe lane, Ricky. They're not gonna play any kind of funny lanes here with Raven.
No.
He should basically have a free lane though on that top lane in all fairness. Like, the Pangli can be annoying, but you've got the super high space regen on the Ricky. Well, what's going on? What are they saying?
Carl was just saying that Play Hard's is pretty big, pretty long. You know? Play Hard Seb is pretty long.
Oh,
and he's just
I
like,
mean, he does have a huge Seb, yeah.
Barry thanks. Play Hard's throwing some shit into Carl, saying that Carl's is just loose change in comparison. And they're somehow making fun of Zephyr for alt tabbing. Like, he's not paying attention apparently.
I don't blame him. Zephyr's a man of business. He doesn't waste his time with these jokes and stuff, right? He'll be back once the game
I'm fine
starts.
with waiting and all, but let's go!
Something brief. I don't know what underwear has to do with it. Apparently, Cuckoo says it's just like purchasing underwear. Okay, Cuckoo.
What's like purchasing underwear? Huh?
I guess, you know, it's. I'm trying to check the context. I can't scroll up enough. See, this is an issue. Fuck. What? Nah, this is probably inside stuff. I'm not sure what they're referencing. Perhaps, you know, it's nice to see.
See you later, nerds.
On that note, by the way, we are trying to hire a Filipino that can translate for us, because John can't apparently. So if there's Filipinos out there, just send it through.
I don't know how Carl throws out the casual yawa, but that's something good for us.
30 seconds to battle.
Just tossing our own curses out. That's always nice to see, Mike.
It is, you know, he's a cultured man, John.
Yeah, just cursing in 2 different dialects is always good.
It's very cultured. Bot lane Skem's gonna be there, but he's not gonna go after that bot boundary. He's by himself at the moment. So Geek will secure both bottom boundary runes, and the top runes, of course, will go to the way of Neon Esports. I was talking before that this Ricky by Raven really shouldn't suffer too much in this lane. The Pango can be annoying, but that's really all I think he can be. Like, the base region of Ricky is just so high in the lane stage that you can't really get through the you can't really get through all this HB quite quickly. And
Yeah.
is that a possible voice?
Yep, it is play hard on it. So they are going with the core Pango, the pause for Void Spirit, which again isn't too common in Southeast Asia, but we have seen from time to time elsewhere, and it does kind of make sense, right? The Void Spirit doesn't take too much farm. You really need to just hit level 6, and at that point play hard and start applying that pressure. Of course, at some point you would want some way of farming the Ags. There's just way too much value in that item pickup, but with the Void on the pause 4, that timing's probably going to be delayed.
I'm gonna have a couple of disconnections here from Neon Esports.
And
Draft from Geek, I think you. It's such a fast-paced lineup, right? Like once you've got the DK at 6, you've got the Quap. Maybe at that point she'll be level 8, and the Ricky as well. Like Raven, he can join these team fights so fast if his team needs him. Like they may opt to just farm a little bit. They may not choose to start rushing down lanes. But once you get around that 10-minute mark, I think Raven may just join up with his team and start just joining the fights.
yeah,
I don't really see any reason for him to just keep farming here. Like once you've got a couple Wraith Bands and Treads up on that Ricky with a lineup like this, they do tend to melt quite fast on Neon Esports.
yeah, they're not the tankiest targets, and this does open up that early aggression for Geek Fam as well. I think one other really strong aspect from Geek Fam's draft is just their laning. Like, you look down bot, you see Scam on the Bloodseeker, you've got Whitemon and Zephyr around already to make that hellish. So if they want to just delay the progression of this Bloodseeker, and hanging around for a level or 2 down here should really make it hard for Scam to find some early last hits.
You should be able to just decrepify Scam on that Bloodseeker every time he goes for that last hit. So force him to use the Blood Right to try and get those CS, but even then it can be quite challenging because it's just so projected. Quite easy to just try and go into the denial while you have a chance, while that Blood Right is still charging up. It's going to be a lot of pressure here on your Page as well. I think he's going to have to be rotating quite early on in the park. So things can escalate quite fast here with this draft from Geek if you're not too careful. Disconnections coming up.
Yeah, it's just just a bad day for internet again. It's staple, Southeast Asian staple. Just like rice, you have it everywhere. It disconnects. I mean, you know, it's like I'm on mobile hotspot. I've got my dad's phone on top of my PC right now, hooked into a charger as well, just to make sure somehow it's holding up, at least for the Void, I hope. But there's some issues. Yeah, it's something. I'm pretty sure this is not playable, though, so I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So I can get why these boys are trying to get as best of connection as possible.
Speaking of, did you try reconnecting to the camera thing again?
Yeah, it's calling in, and if it, okay, I got muted. I instantly have to mute it because it might just go off. It's not operating too well, but
No,
we'll try to get that fixed.
See you later, nerds.
Another day with the internet.
Yeah, Zephyr being nice though. Take your time, Zephyr. Facebook mode. Why are they making fun of Zephyr just alt-tabbing? He's been pretty on point, but you know, maybe he's got that multitasking up to par, just playing high-level Dota and surfing social media.
You got multitask these days, John. It's just not enough to have like one screen and, you know, can't be on one app at a time. That's not really
No.
2020, John. You gotta get with the times.
Oh, absolutely. That's just the way it rolled now. Zephyr though, telling Scam to focus up. That's for Puckboy Neon. That's a compliment from Carl. He's just saying that Neon are full of cool folk. You know, awesome. Yeah, that's a very roundabout way of saying it. I can't quite translate it, but I'm sure you can get the contents of Puckboy. It should be fairly obvious, I think. One would hope. Maybe my accent's not coming true enough, but it's an accented way of calling someone a cool fella.
Well, it looks like we are going to be going ahead now. So
Let the fighting
this next part
recommence.
over. 5 minutes of pause time left as well, apparently.
Yo, this is the second time someone's asked Raven if he's in a rush. Every single time there's a pause and he's like, go. And everyone's like, are you in a rush, Raven?
I don't quite blame Raven. I mean, I don't know why players enjoy wasting time so much just sitting in a pause screen. But I play the game.
Yeah, but I guess Zephyr just enjoys that Facebook
Radiant's
time, man.
courier has been
That's fair
killed.
enough. This is work time, Zephyr. No more Facebook for you, sir.
Oh.
Going to be up against Januel, who's going to be harassing Zephyr out quite a bit. That level 1 timing for the pug is quite slow. Plus, he went for the level 1 Nether Ward.
Yeah, that's an interesting start. Not very common. I think this does make it harder for Scamp to spam the blood right. It's just that, well, level 1 ward is really easy to kill.
Bound to the flayed twins
I'm
by
kinda shocked he
honor,
went for that.
Bloodseeker.
I appreciate the fact that you are going to remove a lot of mana there from Scanner and just harass him out. But like you said, it's just so easy to kill. Oh. And it's not like you're going to spam Blood Right that often at level 1. If you're scared. He'll put another one down. In all fairness, though, if you go to try and kill off that ward, you can take a lot of free harassment from Zephyr. That might be the game plan here, just trying to force them to deal with the ward and then him harassing them while they do it. No, yeah, they get the denial. Cuckoo got the deny that one. Skim going to chase Cuckoo down with the Ink Swirl. See a bit of damage there on the DK. He'll be fine.
Radiant's
We're
courier has been
lane.
killed.
Because mid lane, your Page is going to be up. Carl saw him yesterday having a great old time on the Ember Spirit. This time around on the Quad. Currently doing very well in this lane up against the Park. The Page is going to have to be a bit careful about how much harassment he takes from Carl. Will eventually just salve up.
Yeah, still a slightly better lane so far for Yapaj. Just managing to clear the creep waves a bit better, but it's not like Carl's too far behind. This is the story of this lane until perhaps you see an early lane support rotate out, but with how the side lanes are going, probably not going to be happening anytime soon.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we're only 2 minutes 40 seconds in. Now the Discord's happening.
Yeah, it's interesting to me though, because we tend to see a lot of teams call for, I believe it's TeamSpeak. So this is the first time I've seen someone call out for Discord issue, so that's new.
Is it? Do people still use TeamSpeak?
Yeah, a lot of teams actually still use it.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they bought a server, you know, they bought some bandwidth, so they might as well. It is technically higher quality when you run your own server. You can control it a bit better, maybe privacy or DDoS concerns.
Yes.
There was a period of time where teams were still using Skype and Discord wasn't big, so I guess a lot of them did just transition to TeamSpeak in that period. Yeah, that was the yeah, Skype. That's
the worst. It's just.
Oh, it was. Oh yeah, take me back though. Like I think maintain our Skypes for just one person, and I'm that guy. He's a great fella in the CIS scene. Very fun to work with.
maintain Skype at all, John. I don't have it installed right now.
I keep it installed. That's smart. I keep it around just in case I get reminded to run ads.
Alright. The top lane, of course, we do have Whiteman and Raven there. Currently, Raven's top of the last hits board. He's really being uncontested by Rappy on this Pango. Which again was to be somewhat expected here. Like, it's very hard to win this lane as a Pango. To especially when Whiteman's there and all. That's a miss swashbuckle as well. But Whiteman's just continuously harassing him out, and Rappy's really got no help around. Playhard has pulled the lane over, so he's trying to fix the lane up for Rappy, but this definitely isn't really helping out this Pangolier.
Dire have fortified their structures.
It's one of the things would avoid for, its laning presence is sometimes not the best. It takes some EXP to really build it up, and that's most certainly something Geek Fam is exploiting. As you mentioned, Raven pretty much free farming, and we've seen what happens when you let Raven have a free lane. It's out of control very fast.
That it probably will if they're trying to contain Raven now. They do have a lot of creeps coming the way of Rappy though, so he'll get a bit of XP for himself and hopefully get a gold as well. Of course, Whiteman's just going to take care of just chasing down Playhard, making sure he doesn't have a good old time. Playhard still sitting at the level 2 mark, is going to have a struggle here in trying to get those levels up. He'll go after an Aether and onto Carl, but Carl will dodge it out quite easily. Playhard right now is just soaking XP off your Page. But he can't go back to the top lane because Wyman's just blocking the way. He's kind of stuck here. He scans out, he scans Wyman, still going to be chased though. Wyman's hitting like a truck right now as well, which doesn't really help. He literally just can't get back to the lane. He's going to go the longest way possible.
Yeah, it's really hurting that top lane. Not the best result for Neon. They're just going to have to cop it. I mean, there's not much choice there. This is what they've drafted themselves into, after all.
But they have. That mid lane though, your Page has started to overtake this Queen of Pain. Trying to go for that banner snipe there from Carl. Your Page still going onto that swap. He could actually take him out, but now Zeppa's coming in and Carl is bottling up through all his auto attacks. Your Page though, all he's going to be there. Does he want to jaunt in? He does!
Radiant's courier just got killed.
Carl.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Now he's in a very awkward position. He has to keep out of there. He'll be alright in the end. Straight back to that mid lane. Well, your Page, if he can keep this up, he should be able to really carry his team through the mid game on that. They are going to need him to set the tempo.
Yeah, it's really down to Yapaj just finding a stronger start. It is already a bit good, you know, he's about a wave ahead of Carl, which is a nice start. You rarely see Carl in this kind of situation. And the puck can start making early rotations. You've got the level 6 up and running. There you go, the green pulls out.
Come out now. Shot by your Page and gets the kill. First one is going to be there for the pop. Great dodge on that Sonic Wave. That's going to really hurt for Carl, not only dying, but getting that Sonic Wave on cooldown in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a nice big win for Neon down mid, and again, if Page maintains that pace, he should be able to get a lot more. White on though, being chased out.
He's in trouble. The Nightmare does finally get taken off of Rappy, but he doesn't really have the swashbuckles anyway.
Dire's bottom tower is being chipped
Couldn't
away.
go for the chase. I thought one was just going to die there for sure, but the brain sap kept him alive. Rappy is still struggling quite a lot though. Like, he's got 23 lances from this Tango. Now Raven, he comes in for one blink strike and you saw the damage. He just can't really sustain himself in this lane anymore. To make matters worse, with Playhard, he does rotate. But they tried to make the chase onto Cuckoo it seems, but Cuckoo TP'd out. They didn't really have the Inkswell off in time, so they couldn't really stop the TP. It's just gonna hurt Neon now, because he rotated Playhard. He's already suffering in terms of levels. He's gonna run all the way up to the top lane again now. It's just not great news.
No, it definitely isn't. Neon's early game, sure they find first blood on Yapaj, but every other lane is still hurting. You're not finding the snowball you'd want from Scam, although he is finding last hits. Cuckoo, I'm sure, is pretty happy with just finding his EXP on the DK, and this is again something Geek Fam needed. They just needed to find their levels, hit a good stride on Raven, and even if you haven't slowed down that Bloodseeker, well, you do have solutions for that with your support Pugna anyway, so it's not going to be a point of concern. And you look at Zephyr, he actually did skip decrep. He's really just maxing out the nether ward.
Make the jump onto Zephyr now. Zephyr's going to be in trouble with that silence. He's going to try and run, but will die. Down the jump, yes, Playhard. Sonic Wave can be quite decent. rotating this 4 or 5 and start just trying to find pickoffs across the map to Geek Fam. But back to that Pugma build. Why no Geek Fam?
That's an interesting way to go about it. I think they're just really trying to punish the puck and just make it hard for them to cast spells. So you're again limiting the spam controls while they're down bot.
Yeah, bot lane, it's sort of with that Jenny Raw. He is going to at least get the stun on the Ricky, but not really matter. Cuckoo does get the kill for himself, and now with that Dragon Form, they are very easily going to push down that T1 tower. And this is really the problem with giving that DK over the Geek. They do this every single time they set level 6 times. There is going to be a lot of trouble. Now your Panthers rotate. Cuckoo is going to be in pretty big trouble. He'll try and turn around, but there's nothing he can do. Skinner's going to rotate in and just take the kill for himself. They do successfully stop the bot push from happening, but it is a substantial amount of damage.
Yeah, it really is, and I'd say at this point, finding that defense is for Neon, Geek Fam. Gotta be a bit careful. Maybe try to give Zephyr some more EXP. Does have at least 1 point in Geek Rep, but if you want a few more, although Raven is hunting scamming.
Skip is just way out of position right now. Setting up for the top tier 1 push by farming in that area, but there's nobody there. Genuine just made his way up. That's a big pick off there for Geek Fam. That was the pos 1 of Neon Esports.
That's a really good punishment from Geek. Scam needs to find safer farmer, hunt more successfully. They do find Zephyr at the least.
But they do.
Radiant's middle
Cuckoo's just
tower is
focused on
under
trying to
attack.
force in that mid tower now. He's just pushing lane. He's got a priority target. They may kill him off Cuckoo. He's gonna make a run for it, but he has to start up that sort of landing. Landing is not but it won't matter. They do get one now. They're in trouble. A great Sonic Wave though. They bring the Bane in as well. Rolling Thunder out. This clock is in huge trouble. The Nightmare Rider does try to blink away with the rupture. Good kill him off. Maybe just didn't realize the rupture was there.
Radiant's top tower is
But
under
back those
attack.
mechanics that you can actually blink and dodge the rupture death on the Queen of Pain. That is possible, but if you don't realize the rupture there,
Radiant's
you won't
top
be able to
tower
really
deserves
commit to the
just as
trick.
much help as bottom.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky distance to have to estimate, and you know it's something that I guess Carl wasn't quite ready for. So Neon is starting to kick up that early aggression, but you look at Raven. He's been
Radiant's
left to
top
farm up.
tower
He hasn't
isn't
really been punished. He's going for the defusal build, so it is a more aggressive build for Raven this time. Not opting for battle free, but he's been allowed to farm a 1k advantage over Scam. This is really not what you want to be seeing from Dion, as the few kills they've gotten are nice, but Geek Fam are just advancing in these objectives at a
Radiant's
faster
bottom
pace.
tower is under attack.
It is a slot seeker, like, you need to be ahead. Like, you do not want to be behind in the stage of the game as a blood seeker. You still want to be aggressive here. Raven gets free
Dire's
called
top
off, and
tower
now
is
the
under
rotation's not
attack.
coming.
Radiant's bottom tower
Trying to
is
get out. Down in the line frame, he does blink away, but now Zeph does take the rupture. Now rolling bottom, won't quite connect onto Raven. Soulline's going to be out with double time, but
Double kill.
he does catch the pain though. Still they do end up killing off that ring. Now going after Wyman on the Bane. They will leave the Bane alone, maybe just deciding who's the better target. Will they have the damage though? Maxine saw it to be hard, but now Cuckoo will turn around with the Dragon Tail.
Radiant's middle
Just don't
tower
really have the
shouldn't have to
damage
take
output
this
to deal with the
abuse.
DK unless
Because
you have
Radiant
everyone
fortified their
basically surrounding
structures.
him. And this is with Cuckoo actually skipping out on the braces.
Radiant's
He's just
middle
going
tower
straight to
is
that
under
link.
attack.
Yeah, I don't blame Cuckoo for going this way. He needs to be up in front, setting the pace to counteract Neon's aggression. So the fast link is necessary, but you're still seeing him quite tanky, and that is paying off great. I think, look at Zephyr now, does have the level 6. You've got the sustain that can come out from Geek Fam, and that makes it a lot more complicated in trying to actually pick them off, as long as Zephyr's positioning is on point. So you do have certain tools coming out for Geek. Neon still gonna be happy with finally getting punishment on Raven, but they did give away that tier 1 anyway.
Are those
So Geek fam
cracks in
still
Dire's
find
top
objectives
tower?
in the end. And I'm sure they're gonna go for that mid tier 1 next. It's at 300 HP. Not much left to it.
They're beating on Dire's top tower.
Like Rappy's trying to at least split push the top lane, but we are going to have a DC now from Geek Fam's end, which means that my time is coming soon. So teams now. Time for the plug. I'll get ready for the disconnection. So we'll have the go ahead from Geek Fam. They reconnect quite fast.
Let the fighting recommence. Are those cracks in Dire's top tower?
You know, this build from
Radiant's
Zephyr is still
bottom tower's got
intriguing me.
problems.
Like, it does have some plays. I just don't know why you'd really value max death for it over even Nether Blast. Like, just the max net. Like, this is slowing down push tad for Geek Fam and minimizing their damage output, but it is kind of working as well, right? Like, it has kind of tempered that aggression, although
I mean, it makes sense in a way. Like, having that match Nether Ward is going to be so detrimental in these early team fights. Right? Because you don't have the greatest mana pools, you don't have huge mana regen. Like, just the regen aura of the mana will be quite detrimental in a team fight. But you pointed out earlier, like, the Puff has so many spammable spells that it is going to be quite effective up against a hero like that. To just put it down and just see all the damage start ticking out. Even the Void Spirit, like, just such low cooldowns.
yeah, it's I don't think we've seen the full effect of it just yet. I think the positioning that Zephyr has been forced to drop in has been less than ideal, but it is at max level now, so the damage kicks in, the mana loss kicks in as well. Should start to have a bigger factor in these fights.
Now they also find Januel.
Someone better help Dire's middle tower.
Well, they're pushing the mid lane there with your park, but it's just the park. Geek Fam are rotating into that mid lane now,
beating
trying
on
to secure
Dire's
that
top
C1.
tower.
Cuckoo will just go straight into the tower. He'll turn around onto your park, try to hold him back. Now there's Carl will get in with the Sonic Wave. Your Page in huge trouble, and there's that Nevermore kicking in back.
Yeah.
And now that he's got the blink, right? Like, the blink on the park.
Radiant's
when
middle
the
tower has been
really gonna
denied.
hurt, because you may not be able to blink out.
Oh yeah, it's really going to pay off now. Like, this was a very patient set of builds from Zephyr. This is going to help them massively. Although White Fawn cops the rupture.
Doesn't bother the TP yet. Doesn't break that TP. Rolling thunder.
good's
It's gonna be
happening to
forced
Radiant's
out.
bottom tower.
They'll just commit for the easy kill of that base. So Neon sitting at an 8-8. There's a 14 net worth rate here for Geek Fam. And again, you look at Scam, he's just been struggling on this Bloodseeker.
It's been slow going, and he went for the drums build just to have more early presence for his team. What we tend to see from the core seekers have been a Blade Mail Radiance Rush or an SNY Radiance, but the timing doesn't feel great for Scam. They did smoke, but it's immediately popped by Zephyr.
Yeah, doesn't break it now. Looking to place that Nevermore down, but being chased by Flamehard. There is going to be a green call out, but it's still nothing. Raven is still perfect, it's fine. Flamehard will jump back in, but Raven just juicing and diving. Now the Diggy Crep light still is going to be there on that winter. Flamehard is kicking out. No, he will go down, but so will Flamehard. Now the Bloodseeker,
Radiant's top tower
he's going to be able to run away, but I can't say the same thing for Page, who does get stunned by that smoke screen.
See you later, nerd.
Well, you've got the Bloodseeker out of there, but Carl just tips him. I don't care, he did nothing in the team fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a consistent factor in these fights. Scam presence is starting to be minimized. You know, as you build in, I mean, got Zephyr at 9 now. All of a sudden, he has level 3 decrep. So it becomes a lot harder for anyone to really just focus down and right click, especially for that Bloodseeker. This mitigates his speed and gives a lot of downtime for Scam, even does show up. So Geek fam are starting to build up here in Neon. Their draft is supposed to be just as aggressive. It's just not quite kicking into gear. They need to find a way to make it work. They need to keep hunting Raven, because despite Raven joining these fights, he's still top of the network.
Now Colin going straight off his pass. He's just trying to run away. They couldn't even kill Zephyros. He is going to survive, and now Skim's just forced to run. They're going to turn around on Shiku will also survive. You know, Colin was still trying to kill off your Page, but doesn't quite get that sort of pass. But it does get really concerning when you can't deal with the pos for Zeph or Pugna. And now Geek fam, they're going to run down the bot lane. They don't have Dragon Form, but they don't really need it. They can slowly siege away and wait for the next creep wave.
Yeah, it's
I mean, the best that Neon can do is just trying to push in the top tower.
it's not going to be a favorable trade for Neon in that case. It's just not a high priority lane anymore for Geek fam, and you are seeing Neon's draft fall apart at the seams a bit. It is getting a bit wonky. Skem's presence is just not doing much. The Rupture's not really working on Geek fam beyond that one time where Carl did dodge it, and beyond that point, it's been pretty well going for Geek fam. They're still finding farm, they're still pulling ahead, and they're playing aggressively. Carl is stuck up top though.
Stop. They just can't. They can't secure the kill of Queen of Pain.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yes. You really need to land that combo. Every single time I think we watch Play Hard, the remnants just don't latch. It's really tricky, but you depend so much of your control on it. And once it misses, oh no.
Killing spree.
How can he afford to keep dying like this? His team was quite dependent on playing with the path. But they've just fallen so far behind now. You've got a 6k net worth on Geek fam. They are pushing down objectives at the very least. They did find the top tier 1.
Radiant's bottom tower
Well, they're kind of pushing the top tier 2 a little bit.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But ultimately, they're just avoiding the side of Geek fam right now, which I can't quite blame them for.
Radiant's
But now
middle
it's
tower
most of
shouldn't
them
have to
Geek
take this
fam.
abuse. Are those cracks in Dire's top
This is the
tower?
Dragon Storm playing RT being up, but no, Dragon Tail and Nightmare both going to be there. Playing up, can you juke yourself out of this? You will have to step away, but when he steps again, they are on the chase, they do want the kill. Carl, blink your vision, play hard, still 20 seconds for another astral step.
Own it.
Probably gonna die if they can just secure the quite nicely in Carl with the Sonic Wave. Enough wasting time. Meanwhile, mid lane Zephyr, he's gonna be in trouble. Double silence out on that Pugna. He's losing trouble. And then now the defense comes down. Three coils there. Can they actually finish the job off? Not quite. Goes down now.
Double kill.
Scam.
The next label play.
Even Genuel, he's trying to run away, but Carl's going to be a problem. Raven gets
Triple
a
kill.
triple kill on the Ricky. And it just turns into a 12-fashion stomp.
It really is. 9-17, 9k lead for Geek fam. And Neon, they keep trying to commit onto Zephyr, and they have to throw so many bodies out for a pause 4. It's just not shaping up the way Neon would like. I think Scam has to reconsider that build owner.
Abby does barely get away with his life intact. Play hard. Carl's going to be there on the going 30. He's in huge trouble. Raven is just online now. Like, you got the BKB up. He didn't even need to use that last little engagement. No necessity for it.
Yeah, he's got so much space to just command these fights that, again, Neon just feels like they have to focus Zephyr, but it's not enough, and oh no, Scammer.
Own it.
Genuine there as well, but there's really no hope for some.
Nah, they call it.
Yeah. They're too far ahead.
Yeah, 9-19, 12k, 21 minutes. Raven again with great farm. Great aggression in Zephyr, just ruining him. That Pugna pick was so good here, and the fact that he went for the ward to even stop Page from trying to make plays paid off in the end. So Neon, Gotta be a bit more careful in that draft. You can't allow Geek Fam to take the DK and Quap. They just love these